Yo, yo, yo. How awesome was that to actually go to that dump that they call the swamp and just absolutely stomp those Florida Gators. That was absolutely amazing. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm ecstatic.
Billy Napier, get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. You're gonna be over there coaching in the Chinese football league after next week. God damn.
And look what we got down here. Look at Slim Shady Canes coming out all just totally dressed up tonight. I love it. I love this. What's up, Slim? How you doing?
Oh, it is a great and glorious day.
I got to full screen you. Just go on ahead and I know that thing's probably hot, so while you got it on, go on ahead and just take over, Slim.
Take over. See, I can't take over because Miami already took over. Not only did they take over Miami, but they took over Canesville. They took over the stadium. And they did what we've all been waiting since 2016 for. The swamp has been drained.
I like it. Is that? I mean, you don't have any more trash talking.
I'm honestly, I kind of feel bad for him at this point. I mean, I'm starting to actually, after that absolute beating, I found a little remorse in my heart.
You found remorse for a Florida Gator?
You have a heart?
Yeah.
Hey, you have a heart? Yeah,
hey, I'm call me the new Grinch of Miami. It grew 3 sizes bigger during the course of that absolute beating. Borderline child abuse.
Yeah, that was
animal abuse. Bad. Animal abuse, actually.
There you go. Animal abuse. Yeah, animal abuse, child abuse. I mean, how they weren't all taken out of there in chains, Mario along with them, I don't know. But like everything else, we get away with it and go on about our day.
Well, I thought it was wonderful. They were like, is Miami going to be able to handle the noise? Is Miami going to be able to handle? I heard these clowns talking about we weren't going to be able to handle the humidity. It's like they were like, oh, that northern Florida humidity, they're not going to be used to. I actually heard people saying that. It was like, I didn't even know how to respond.
No, the worst part is if you've been on Twitter at all this week, if you asked a Florida fan, why are the Gators going to win? They're like, oh, the swamp. Camp Ward's never been in anywhere like the swamp. These boys don't know about the swamp. This and that. They never actually talked about ball. They never talked about their team. Why? Because they're trash. We said it in the post. Look, Slim and I thought this was going to be close. If T2Y comes on today, I don't know if he will. I hope he tells us to our face that he told us so when he said we were going to put belt to ass. Because that's what we did. We put belt to ass. The moment we went up 14-3, this game was over. I know they scored a 71-yard touchdown, and that really made things look a little bit better than it was early on. But they couldn't do anything.
And that play there with the touchdown where they got that one, that was well executed by Florida. I'll give them that. They really did. That was a good play. It kind of did mumble.
It was a good play, but it also got sprung because Jaden Harris took a terrible angle to get to the ball.
Right.
An absolutely terrible angle. So, I mean, I have the stats here. If you take that 71 yards off, Florida had 139 yards rushing. If you take 71 yards off of that, then they are left with 68 yards rushing on 27 carries.
What did we see with Mertz? What did he only threw for 91 yards?
He threw 11 of 20 for 91 yards, which that was another thing. A lot of Gator fans try to be like, Graham Mertz is so underrated, 71% completion percentage, this, and that. Yeah, that came because all he does is throw checkdowns and screens. He threw
it was great. And they were like
down the field, and they were all overthrown or incomplete.
Well, and speaking of Graham Mertz, let's not stoop down to Florida Gators level. I do hope he's okay. I don't like to see any football player get hurt.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I hated to see him go out.
I will say, when DJ Lagway came in, y'all boys are gonna have a quarterback controversy because it was near the end of the game, but he looked a whole lot better than Graham Mertz.
Well, he's a whole lot more
hell of a lot.
athletic. I mean, that was to be expected. And now, see, that's what I was hearing out of Florida fans is they were going to have packages for DJ all along, and they were going to implement him into the game early on, kind of like Urban did with Chris Leak and Tebow for that 06 title.
Yeah, I mean,
well, let's look at this too, though. You see that guy come in. Yeah, he did look better, but you're putting that up against a fourth quarter defense that
don't
is
give a fuck
worn
defense,
down. Worn down and not trying like they were at the beginning of the game. So I mean, he might have looked better, justifiably. It's not like the first quarter comparison.
Yeah, I mean, another big thing that really, I forget who said it on our season preview stream, but we controlled possession all game.
Yes,
we showed we could be explosive, but we don't need to be. We can kill you with 5 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. Just death by 1,000 paper cuts like that. And we still put up 41 points. I mean, and another thing is just we were able to limit the turnovers, stupid mistakes. I know Cam had the interception, but that one was honestly really just a result of him trying to play hero ball, which he's been used to over the last couple of years.
Well, and you expect some mistakes early on because they can practice all they want. I admittedly went into this game a little worried, that everybody's timing is down, that everybody's fully gelled together because you can only do so much in practice.
Yeah, but that's what surprised me the most because, and even the announcers said it, Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer, this team looks like they've been playing together for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like they looked amazing. They looked so instinct. Damian Martinez, he didn't have a huge.
Hang on, but before we can get back to celebrating, but quick aside, Mario, kneel the damn ball. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if this was a troll because people have been talking about it, and it might have been. In which case, I'll let it go. But also, think about the longevity of the season. When you have a big lead, I don't want to see Cam Ward in that game.
Yeah.
Outside of that, listen, I'll let some of that go because it's a rivalry game, and I can understand Mario wanting to run it up on Florida. So I'll give him a pass. And because of all the trash talk in the offseason about the knee, I'll give that a pass because I could just, as much trolling as was going on before and after this game, which Lance Guidry, that was good. I reposted something he posted on Twitter.
Yeah,
I will let that slide for this game. But hey, we're done with it. We forced down our veggies back to dessert.
Yeah, we already threatened to give. We already threatened to give Slim the Debbie Downer Award if he went too long with that this week. So, yeah, good call, Slim. Good call.
Also, Ronnie Powell, I'm about to answer your question. Mario Cristobal says Ruben Bain and Damari Brown will likely be out 1 to 2 weeks, which isn't too big of a deal when your next games are Ball State and Florida A&M. Obviously, it would be better if they didn't get injured, but they missed the whole game. It honestly looked a lot. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, so I'll take 1 to 2 weeks. And he also said that Rodriguez likely has a sprained ankle. So yeah, that could take some time to come back from. But again, that we have depth at the offensive line, and he was rotating in and out with someone else. I'm forgetting the name now, but he was rotating all day in the offensive line, so it's still not crazy. But yeah, also we set a few records today. We broke Florida's 33-game home opener streak. This is the most points they've ever given up in an opener, period. Ever. Not
ever.
In 30 years.
Just
ever.
Take that in, everybody. Take that in, everybody. Just take that in and take a deep breath and smell that beautiful scent aroma coming in of Florida misery. It's wonderful.
Oh, listen, before we were live, somebody sent me a link on Twitter. They had a Twitter space going. So I was sitting there listening to that until we got this set up.
You called it, Alex. You called it. Alex called it. We're like, where's Slim at? Where's Slim at? He's like, he's probably in his Twitter space. Hey,
Hey, I was basking in salty Gator tears.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. I mean, hopefully the perfect cap this weekend would be Monday, FSU losing at home to Boston College. It would just be they already lost to Georgia Tech. And
That's
that was
that's the
amazing.
Monday night game, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I don't, and here's why: because Boston College was an absolutely abysmal team last year, and they're probably going to be this year because they have a new head coach and an entirely new coaching staff. No, I like to troll. So when you're looking for losses for your opponent, you need to look for key troll opportunities. Uh, Florida State plays Memphis, Mike Norvell's former team, and one of the teams in a lot of people's picks to be the group of 5 team to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot more likely that they lose to Memphis if they also lose to BC early on. Because then they're just really down in the dumps.
And I get it. And as funny as it would be, it's also much more likely that they come out there and throw Boston College one hell of a beating. They're going to take some frustration out on Boston College.
Also, workforce, I do have BC covering. That is a 17-point spread. And honestly, it's crazy to think that FSU could even score 17 points after what they showed with DJ last week. Yeah, I think Boston covers. I still think I think FSU will win, but I think Boston College covers. But we're not here to talk about FSU. We're here to talk about the absolute ass kicking we just had into the baby lizards up in Canesville.
So let me ask this. So I was listening to reading the chat and Uncle Lou's thing earlier while he was covering the game as well. And of course the narrative has switched like almost immediately from Miami's not going to be able to, it's going to be a close game, but they'll probably cover 2.5 points. Is the noise going to get to them? How are they going to handle the swamp? To Florida State's or Florida is a dumpster fire. Florida's horrible. Florida, blah, blah, blah. The ACE. So do you think Florida is as bad or that we actually are a lot better team? What do you
No, Florida actually showed some improvement over last year. I mean, in
it's hard
spots,
to gauge. It's hard to gauge. That's why I asked the question.
It's hard to gauge week one, but especially listen, their D line fought for 4 quarters. They didn't give up a single play, and every run play that had to be earned without a shadow of a doubt. And I don't know if and you had it up from Inked Kane a minute ago, and it's something I saw during the game as well. When we got a lead and it felt like the game was in control, did the wide receivers kind of slack off a little, or were their corners just that good because we weren't getting a ton of separation?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw Ink Kane's thing there too. Good to see Ink Kane too.
I think it was more slacking off because we were getting that separation earlier in the game.
And do you call it slacking off or being like? Do you call it slacking off or being exhausted? I mean, there is that too. They played a really good game. Everybody,
there is that.
I mean, everybody called us out saying our pass defense was going to be bad and blah blah. Everybody went on and on about all this and how the guy was going to pit. I mean, we did good. We hung in there. We did. We played a good game, I thought. And I hate that people are. Well, Florida's just that bad.
Because we're Miami.
Well, and also
they're always going to try to take everything away from us.
Right.
Well, no, you also have to be honest about some of the things that happened in the game. That first touchdown, or actually it was the second touchdown of the game, or the second passing, the one to X. That was a busted coverage all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yes, is on Florida. But that's not a wide receiver creating separation and beating somebody one-on-one. That's just a blown coverage.
Yeah, but also, like, with X, we know X gets open.
We know X gets open, and we also know that X, it doesn't matter if he's wearing a corner as a blanket, he's going to make the catch. That's just the kind of guy that he is.
Yeah. How many yards?
Primetime Rambo, thanks so much for the $4.99 super chat there. Good to see you too, Primetime Rambo. Isn't it great to be back in college football season and smiling? Believe it or not, we're
Yes.
actually smiling Miami fans. But he says Jaden Harris was the only mixed bag player I saw this week, but I expect him to improve.
Oh, I expect improvement from everybody because listen, this is a rule of college football or football period. Whether you're talking pro college and whether you're talking Alabama at the top or UConn at the bottom, you see the biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2. So you're going to see improvement out of everybody next week.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm really happy about, and you had mentioned it on the preview show, Slim, we used the tight ends.
We did. How about hey, and you sent this text message earlier today. Who had a Cam McCormick touchdown on their bingo card?
Yep.
None of us.
Not just a touchdown, but the first touchdown of the season is to Cam McCormick.
Yes, it was.
And
then, I mean, you saw him get you saw him get Arroyo into the game in a big way, Elijah Lofton into the game in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, with the tight ends, you had Cam McCormick, 1 catch, yards, but it was a touchdown. Lofton, 2 catches for 38 yards, which he looked like a grown man on that last catch that he had. Elijah Arroyo, 4 catches, 89 yards, 22 yards a catch with a long of 29 yards. I mean, Elijah Arroyo, we know the issue with him has been staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, he's probably going to be one of the top tight ends. I can't say in the country, but probably in the ACC.
Well, and something that encouraged me today, Shannon Dawson got ballsy. Shannon Dawson dug into his bag of tricks. You saw RPOs. You saw 4-5 wide. You saw bunch sets.
Yeah,
I mean
it's easy to do
he's
that.
Going to give you a lot.
Like a quarterback.
He's going to give you a lot to look at.
I was so hoping that Restrepo was going to get that little fake pass that the little trick play that they did. We ran out, and it was right there on it. I was so. I mean,
almost.
Yeah,
almost. And Sam Brown had a couple of drops, and listen, once again, you're going to see improvement from this game to the next, but you're also going to see you expect some jitters out of Sam Brown coming from Group of 5 level to Power 5 level, and then his first game being in the Swamp. So I'm more than willing to forgive a couple of drops out of him today.
Right, and it's the first game of the season. I mean, you can't like you said, improvement is going to happen. Obviously, well, you hope, unless Tyler Van Dyke, with our luck, everything he started out good all the time and it went bad. But surely this looked like a totally different team on both ends of the ball. So.
It did, and my biggest surprise, I thought the defense would have some problems because despite what you think about Florida, they may have Cousin Eddie as a head coach, but there's talent on that football team.
Well, right, and that's what I'm going to be really curious to see what they come out and do moving forward. I mean, obviously we've looked at their schedule back we all made fun of it. They have, without a doubt, one of the hardest schedules in college football. But I'm curious to see how they do, moving forward from here as well.
I am too, and from what I saw, I still cannot believe the 2-3 win predictions. 4 is a possibility. I think 5 is more likely.
Yeah,
for them going forward.
My prediction for Florida 5 and 7. Yeah, I think they still get a couple big wins when I look at the schedule. I think they can beat Texas A&M just because it's at home. We'll see how Texas A&M looks tonight against Notre Dame. UCF could be tough. They play Tennessee. Kentucky could potentially be a win because it's at home. But then that last 5 games, Georgia, Texas, LSU at home, Ole Miss at home, and then at Florida State. most winnable games there are probably Florida State and then LSU, and that's just because LSU at home. If that was in Death Valley, I'd say LSU has that one in the bag.
I'm not high on LSU, and I'll even give them a shot against Ole Miss late in the season, and simply because of Lane Kiffin.
And
I mean, Lane Kiffin, it's at home, and Lane Kiffin has had himself in prime position plenty of times and found a way to Lane Kiffin it up.
Yeah, but then, I mean, Billy might be fired if they lose to A&M, UCF, and Tennessee. Billy's gone after that Tennessee game, maybe even after the UCF game.
Yeah, see, that's gonna be the talking point going forward in this season. Is he going to make it past UCF, or is he going to make it past Tennessee?
Right, he's going to be dressing up as a hobo getting on the train for Halloween.
Because look, they're gonna. I think we can say they're gonna beat Samford next week. I think we can be safe in saying that.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Then you have
Texas A&M. We'll get our answers on A&M here in a minute, because that game either has started or is about to start.
I think that game should have started already. Texas A&M, that game, if they lose it, they're 1-2. You beat Mississippi State, you're 2-2. If you lose to UCF and you lose to Tennessee, you're 2-4, and your wins are Samford and Mississippi State, which, yes, it's an SEC win, but Mississippi State is projected to probably be the worst team in the SEC.
It's like at the end of the day, it's Mississippi State. Now A&M, I think it's safe to call that a toss-up. I've never made my feelings shy that continuity is one of the best things you can have in a football team between players and coaches. And Texas A&M has a brand new staff.
Yeah, I do love how we're sitting here like we're basically giving Florida a swirly right now in the toilet, you know. We're talking about
and actually I saw a comment a minute ago. How about Jordan Lyle today?
Yeah, look good.
That was a breath of fresh air.
He only got 3 yards of carry, but he
for his first start ever. I'll take it.
No, you saw 6 for 18, and you saw flashes. Cam Ward said, Oregon and USC were louder than the Swamp today. Fuck you, Florida. Fucking.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that in the press conference.
At one point, what was it? I think it was when we went up 17-3. That's when Florida got that false start. It was Miami fans in there were so loud that it affected Florida.
It's so nice to see.
Drain the swamp, baby. Drain the fucking swamp. You got Ruben Bain heading on the team bus wearing the good, bad, and ugly shirt.
Oh, nice. And I don't think his injury is that. I mean, he walked off the field. Did you even know he got injured when he got injured? I mean, I might have
only knew it
away
for
a second.
I didn't
even know he got hurt. So
what worried me is when the commentators mentioned it and they said he went straight back to the locker room off the field.
But he walked. It wasn't like he got taken off in the golf cart.
Right. He's not. And we don't play him this year, and I've got nothing against Max Johnson, but I feel bad for him. Did you see that in that North Carolina-Minnesota game?
Yeah. I mean, what this feels like a lot to me is, remember at the end of the Texas A&M game last year, Cam had that scary injury and he had to get carted off and all that, and he didn't play in the Bethune-Cookman or Temple game, and he came back for the first, like, quote-unquote real game against Georgia Tech. That's what it feels like, because these next 2 weeks, it's Florida A&M and Ball State. I feel like if we feel good about our team, they'll even sit him against USF, and we play Virginia Tech, and I think he'll be back for Virginia Tech. Because, yes, Mario likes to play sort of keep away with injuries, but he's not like Kirby Smart level where it's like Kirby Smart reveals absolutely nothing. At least Mario will give you some nuggets. You get me?